My name's Brett Mitchell. I'm the Executive Chairman of Uvre Limited, which has recently just acquired Otter Gold. Otter Gold is a New Zealand incorporated company that holds 5 brown and greenfields gold exploration projects, and we completed that acquisition in July, and we're about to start drilling the first project, Waitakauri, at the beginning of October. Uvre was a spin out of a company, Delta Lithium. I was previously a director of Delta from the days it was Red Dirt Metals and became Delta. And following the acquisition of the Mount Ida project by Delta, we decided to do an IPO spin out of some non-core US uranium assets. That was Uvre. So that listed only 3 years ago. Did some work on the US uranium assets, and then about 12 months ago, we had a change in strategy. We didn't want to spend any more money there. We wanted to preserve the cash we had, which is about $3 million, and find a new suite of projects. Got introduced through a good friend, James Unger, who's the head of corporate at Bell Potter in Sydney, to a guy called Norm Seckold. And Norm's one of the most successful mining entrepreneurs and project builders in Australia over the last 50 years. He's a legend in the resources sector. He's taken about 6 projects into production. Norm's 78 years old today and still going strong. He's the exec chairman still of Nickel Industries, which is $2.5 billion market cap nickel producer in Indonesia, and Alpha HPA, which is $1 billion market cap. So Norm's got a pretty serious pedigree, and also he was the original chairman and founding shareholder of Santana, and Santana now has a pretty sizable over 2 million ounce gold deposit in South Island, New Zealand. It's capped at well over $400 million. He was the original chairman there and left the board there a couple of years ago. And what he's doing now is effectively Santana 2.0 in the Otter Gold projects that Uvre recently acquired. Yeah, there's 2 historic goldfields in New Zealand, and both of them have been operating for well over 100 years. One's in the North Island, near a town called Waihi, and it's the Hauraki Goldfield. There's been over 50, it's an epithermal mineralised system. There's been over 50 epithermal mines in that Hauraki goldfield, and operating for over 160 years. Our main project, Waitakauri, was a previous producer, produced around 30,000 ounces historically at about 48 grams a tonne. And it's located less than 5 kilometres from the town Waihi. Now Waihi's like the Kalgoorlie of New Zealand. It's literally got a 10 million ounce open pit 200 metres from the main street of the town. It's Oceana Gold's home base, and some of their projects there, they still operate there, and one of the Waihi mine itself, or the Mount Martha mine, which is now all underground. And they've also got another project there called WKP, which is just north of their Waihi operation in the middle of town, and it's about 5 kilometres north of our project. And WKP is a recent discovery, 2.2 million ounces, over 14 grams, with some step out hits down towards our ground recently, which they're chasing the ore body. So that's our main project. And then we've got 3 projects in the South Island. South Island is different, it's orogenic gold as opposed to epithermal. And that's where Santana's Bendigo Ophir project is. It's also where Macraes, which has been a very well known gold mine, been operating for a long time, is owned by Oceana. They're in that belt, and we've got 2 old gold mines that were producers back 100 years ago, haven't had any modern work done on them. We've acquired those, and plus some early stage projects. So that's the suite of projects that we've got. We've just announced actually this week that we're starting drilling at Waitakauri, our flagship project up near Waihi. We're starting drilling there in October. So that's following up, and we're drilling beneath the historical production stopes. There'd been about $5 million of modern exploration work done over the last 30 years, so not a lot, and only drilling down to about 250 metres. So we believe we need to drill, we're going to be drilling sort of an 8 to 9 hole program initially, 300 to 500 metre diamond drill program. So that starts in early October. And in terms of the South Island projects, both the Invincible, which is a gold tungsten mine, which is under application, we should get granted any week, and also Otarahua, both old producers. They will be some geophysics and then leading into defining a drill program for both of those in Q1 next year. So to be going to a place like New Zealand, which is first world, basically operates in the same as Australia. It's a sister state effectively. So it's dealing in a first world jurisdiction with rigid mining laws, legislation, access to equipment, access to skilled people, English the first language, a mining legislation that was based off the Australian mining legislation. To be operating there in an established, in a commodity that there's been an established industry in a world-class or two world-class goldfields with Hauraki in the North Island, which is epithermal, and the Otago goldfields in the South Island, which are orogenic. There's, is just, and it's a 2-hour flight from Sydney and a 6-hour flight from Perth. So it's an amazing opportunity, and because it has been absolutely underexplored for the last 20 to 30 years, for a couple of reasons. That hence gives what we're so excited about the opportunity, and it's been underexplored because the gold price has only doubled in the last couple of years. Also, New Zealand 20 or 30 years ago were probably the world leaders in environmental legislation and increased environmental approvals to get projects or developing projects done, and that was the case back then. So that put a handbrake on why would Australians go over there looking for mining projects? It's all too hard to get permitting approvals through. Well, as we all know from working and the people in and around the mining industry here in Australia, from where we were 20 years ago to where we are now is sort of almost unrecognisable. We've effectively caught up to where they're at, and the increase in red tape and green tape in Australia to get projects not only developed but to approved. We're getting a project from an exploration licence 5-10 years ago in WA to a production stage was a 18 months, 2-year project. That's now 5 years plus, here in Australia, in WA. Gold price has changed. New Zealand, after a decade of bad economic decisions, which is happening all around the world at a national level, their economy is effectively broke. So they've had to actually reverse things and put in fast track approval processes to stimulate, foreign investment and economic growth. So that's the third sort of component that means the step change and the opportunity that now presents itself.